Hello, hello. Welcome back to Finding Spirit with Tabs. I'm your host, Tabs McCaffrey, and I'm a psychic medium here in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. On this show, I share my own personal journey as I dive into psychic mediumship, Akashic records, spirit guides, and now past life regressions. I like to show you the grounded and practical approach to spirituality. Now, that being said, I am about to dive a little bit deeper into something that I used to consider quite woo. And I have a woo scale, and it kind of moves slowly as I expand and evolve, I guess, through this spiritual journey. This was something that I've kind of been keeping to myself for a while. And yeah, so I'm just going to come out and say it, no matter how uncomfortable it makes me feel. So I am a channeler. I have been channeling the Akashic Records since my first Akashic Records session, and it took me over a year to even recognize that I was channeling the information. And in the last few months, I've really kind of gone on a journey with channeling, opening up to receive it, allowing it to come through, bringing through messages and guidance. Now, today's episode is something different that I've never done. I'm going to give you a little bit of context. So, I am going to share the audio from a recent session. This was intended as a spirit guide session. It's part of a 12-week mentorship. So, in this mentorship, we do like an Akashic record reading, we do a spirit guide session. It's like a little sample of everything that I do, wrapped up with guidance, mentorship, validation, exploring everything about your spiritual journey to kind of get you on the path, finding who you are, where you're meant to go, what you're meant to do. This reading was initially intended to be a spirit guide reading, and at the very beginning of the session, her higher counsel steps in. Now, if you listen to my past life regression episode, my higher counsel stepped in the second part of the regression. You can tell by the tone of it and how they speak. It's absolutely fascinating. I want to deeply thank this client for allowing me to share the audio and to share this session. I was so happy she reached out and gave that permission. So thank you. You know who you are. Yeah, so this session is going to be with her higher counsel. I am channeling, it's coming through. You're going to see how I'm speaking. It's quite different from how I normally speak. And it reminds me of like a transmission. It's like a transmission coming through with wisdom. It's very direct. It's also quite powerful, and you're going to feel that in the audio of it. Before we go into it, this recording was edited. It is not the full audio. There were some very personal things and personal information about my client and their life. There are going to be some things cut out of this, but this is a big chunk of what came through. Now, there are also some moments in this audio where I'm trying to find space to allow them to come through, and you may notice like a cadence in my voice change and the tone and different variations. I can physically feel the points in the beginning of each transition where it's kind of like the in between, where I'm a little bit in my own mind. Their information is starting to transmit through me. It's a little bit of a strange feeling. So I think you'll pick up on it when it's happening, because you'll notice it's a little bit of me and then I switch right into them. And yeah, this is the first time this has ever happened. It was definitely a learning experience and a growth opportunity. It felt very strange. And I did say that to her a few times because it felt like they took up my whole bandwidth. Like there wasn't very much room for myself or my mind or my own thoughts. That's the best way I can explain it. So basically, my entire bandwidth was taken up by the transmission. Yeah, I hope you can take some wisdom from this. And as I said, my client and I felt that there was some deep messages in here for the collective, especially in the season that we are in right now. I'm just going to hit play and let you listen to the channeled message from her higher counsel. So I'm just going to go straight into it with them. And it's like having a conversation within my mind with them. Your purpose in this lifetime is to find joy, and it's great, deep joy, the powerful emotion of joy. And it's a bit of a dichotomy for what you have been experiencing within this lifetime. But all of it was to prepare you to the vast difference between the experiences that you have had and the all empowering and fulfilling emotion of joy for when it is to come into your life. Now, there are many things that will impact that within your life, and one of the things or directions or paths that you could choose to go on that would bring you great joy and fulfillment within this lifetime will come within service to others. So you do have a purpose right now within your life that is very valuable to other souls. Now, this doesn't feel in the same sense as fulfilling as you imagined that it would be, but you are making a difference, even if sometimes you feel like that impact isn't in the direction that you want it to be now. But you have the ability to also choose a different path where you will have that fulfillment in service and of helping others, but it will be in more of a healing sense. The purpose or career, we will say, that you have chosen is not necessarily the hands-on approach that you originally were practicing. And in a sense, you miss that part. That part does not necessarily have to be completed in the work that you are currently doing, but can come from new and unique experiences that you choose to explore. We want to encourage you to explore more modalities around healing. You carry a connection to energies, and you have the ability to find and read pain. Now, you are using this in a different sense within your current career choice. But there is a spiritual side to that that you should be exploring more of, and you will discover in the very near future. Through that discovery, a new path will become more apparent to you, and you will choose to follow that path in a different direction than where you are going now. Again, this is all going to come down to you choosing these things, and whether you choose to follow that path will be up to you, but it is an option that will be presented to you at the right time when you have experienced all the things that you are meant to experience prior to allow you to be open to explore and heal others. In the journey to finding that within your life, you must learn to heal yourself. And when you learn to heal yourself, it will change how you view and look at others. And it will allow you to learn that you can do this for others as well. You may notice that this part turns on for you, and you may go through a period where you are experiencing pain that others may have, and you won't know quite where it's coming from. But you will figure it out quite quickly that it is not yours and it is theirs, and that you have the ability to heal them. We hope that this brings comfort to you on this journey as you explore parts of yourself and heal and discover things that have been laying dormant for a long time. Find comfort in the knowing that you are doing all the right things at exactly the right time that you are meant to, and your journey is moving forward as it was proposed now. There have been some slowdown points, but at this very moment, you are moving in the right direction. Okay. Wow. Okay.
That brought tears to my eyes.
That was higher being. I've never had any, um, I've never had a session where they speak in that sense. That was very,
It
that
sounded like you channeled that.
I agree. So I'm just going to reach in about this second part to the question, although I feel like their answer was all encompassing, but I want to see what they have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the challenges that you are experiencing currently are very specific to this lifetime and some paths that you chose previously. But they will resolve, and you are in the process of resolving past connections within your life and in various points of your life. So there is some important work being done right now. All of this must be cleared so that you can change and almost like you're the architect of your mind and your belief system. And that within this space and this time, this space time that you are currently in, this timeline period, we're using a few different terms so that you can relate whatever feels right. But within this timeline, you need to process and let go, but also design the new areas of your life and the new beliefs and the new systems and programming that are required for you to move forward. So, in a sense, this timeline is very important to you. This time space that you are currently in is very important to the growth and evolution that you are about to experience. This is also going to impact the people around you because through this experience and evolution, you will also be evolving those around you, and they can sense this change is coming as well, and everyone is having a processing time shift right now. So you are not the only person within this soul group that is experiencing this. It's happening at different levels, but everyone is going through what they are meant to go through to prepare you for the future timeline that you as a soul group will be experiencing. And this is in the most positive manner, but you are clearing almost like karmic ties. That is the best way that we could explain it to you. They're like karmic strings that carry to past experiences, but these will all be dissolved when you come forward on the other side. So, this timeline, even though it may feel a bit uncomfortable, it will not last long for you. And before you know it, you will be continuing on the new timeline. Have comfort in knowing that, and understand that the evolution of your soul in this lifetime is the top priority of us and all those that guide you. So we are doing our best to keep you on track. Okay. you search within you for these spiritual abilities, but you have them all already. You have access to everything already. There is nowhere that you need to look to find them but within yourself. And when you transition from seeking always for others to tell you what it is that you need to find, and you start seeking within you, you will find those answers. When you contemplate what you would like to do, we already discussed that. You are meant to heal. You have the ability to find pain and discomfort in others, and you will be able to transmute this for them and teach them to transmute it for themselves. Again, this will be a journey. It will not happen overnight. And we want you to look at this timeline as a rather longer one than what you may be hoping for, but understand that the more you embrace this and continue to process everything that has been happening, the quicker we will say, which again is just a timeline that you have placed on this, but the more rapid it will appear to be happening. So if you would like this to happen at a quicker pace, and we say that again just for you to understand, you will be required to turn inside and search internally for many of these answers. The second part of your question is mute, as we have answered this in the first part. When you think of how do I deepen my relationship, you already receive information. You just need to listen. You need to understand that this does not come from you. Because if it came from you, you would just know. You would not have the thought come to you. When you have the thoughts come to you, that is coming from us. When you receive information or a thought and you ask, that is how you know that it is coming from us and your guides. You need to trust what comes through. You need to trust that we are here to support you and guide you on this journey and this path. And we have nothing but the best interest of you and your soul and your journey and your experiences and your evolution. And that we have supported you through many lifetimes. This is not our first time working together, although you seem to be struggling within this lifetime to understand that we have done this before and that you are receiving external communication. Your soul is far more evolved than you give it credit for or that you believe. Belief has been a journey for you in this lifetime, and we respect that. We understand what you signed up for. And you are still in the early parts of this journey, even though it feels like you are getting older. Again, you are right where you need to be. So release any doubts that things are not going right or not as intended. Everything is exactly as we planned prior to you coming into this lifetime. Some things have shifted and changed, but you are back on to the route that you were intended to be on. And we ask that you just trust how this unravels and you worry less about the logistical part and just allow everything to happen. Surrender a little bit more within yourself, and you will feel things become more easier, more smooth. And you have experienced that in other areas of your life in small doses. We are now asking you to do that in more areas of your life. Let go of the control that you think that you have because you actually have none. And just let the events happen as they are meant to happen. And remember, you signed up for this. You created this. You knew what you needed to accomplish within the lifetime. And it is happening exactly as you planned it all to happen. Yeah, that is it. Wow. I'm just trying to see if there's like fragments. Typically, when it's like spirit guides, it just like, and I can reach, but it's almost like transmissions. That's the best way I can explain it, is coming through like a transmission, and then it's like
And
end, end. And I'm like, okay. And I kind of sit in that mode to allow space for them to come through, but they have ended. Wow. Every time I listen to that, it moves me. It gives me a very different feeling within my soul when I listen back to that. It touches parts of my inner self that don't get touched or revealed often. So I do think there was a lot of power in what came through and so many things that I could apply into my own life. Finding more joy, being of service to others, healing ourselves. That one, like how many times do we bypass that part? That we don't fill our cup and we wonder why we're stressed out, depressed, anxious. It's because we don't take care of ourselves. The other one, like the karmic ties, gosh, how many things in our lives are not even from this lifetime, are like karmic ties from previous lives. And gosh, guys, through the past life regressions, I can't even tell you how many things that people come into sessions with. They're like, I don't know where this comes from. And literally in the regression, it's directly linked to a past life, like direct, like I could draw the line. They see the line. It's so obvious. It's crazy, actually. So I thought it was like really neat that they brought that up. I think the really big one that I wanted to talk about after was that the gifts are already within. I've had this as a common theme with clients, especially recently. A lot of people wanting to know what their gifts are, what they're meant to do, what are their spiritual abilities, what is their spiritual path. And I understand where they're coming from when they ask those questions because I often felt that myself at the beginning of my journey, right? And it can be really confusing and really hard to sort all of it out. I want to tell you guys a story, and I shared this on my Instagram, and it's a true story, by the way. This is my true story. When I started out on this spiritual path, at the beginning of my awakening, I didn't know that I was going to become a medium, talking with the other side, dealing with grief and all sorts of things that come with mediumship. I didn't know that I was going to be communicating with spirit guides and bringing through guidance and helping clients, find their way, receive that higher self guidance that gives them direction. I didn't know that I would be channeling the Akashic records. I didn't know that I would be channeling, period, which has been coming up quite a bit for me. I didn't know that I'd be diving into past lives and helping people break karmic patterns, release limitations, complete lessons, like all of this stuff. I had no idea when I first set out. No one told me that I was going to do all of these things. And if I'm being completely honest, I'm so grateful that I didn't know that this is how everything would turn out because I would have missed the journey. I wouldn't have had the same journey that I've had. I wouldn't change anything how it happened. Everything happened as it was meant to happen at the time that it was meant to happen. Now, if someone would have told me that I would be doing past lives or that that was my plan, and I was like, okay, go take the course and start doing it. I can tell you right now, 2 years ago, I did not have the expanded belief system to support and hold space for my clients through these regression and quantum healing sessions. Even the spirit guides, I don't think I was ready to talk with them and receive guidance and communication. Everything unfolded and peeled back in the timeline that it was meant to happen and in the order and the rate that it was meant to happen. We need time to integrate, expand, and evolve before each continuation on this journey, if that makes sense. So, if your journey is nonlinear, which none of them are, you do need time between, though, to integrate everything that you're experiencing and learning. And if you're just trying to rush through everything, you don't actually get to fully integrate and evolve through it. You're just collecting. You're just trying to, pass go. You're trying to skip steps. The whole part of the journey is the journey. So, if I could give you any advice right now, if you are in the seeking part of your journey where you're trying to figure things out, where you're like, someone tell me what I'm meant to do, I want you to reach inside and ask yourself what you're meant to do. What do you feel drawn to? What piques your interest? What, gets you excited when you think about it, or like, I would love to do that? Pursue that. That is the answer. The things that light your soul on fire, the things that make you excited. And if you don't know what those things are, then start exploring. Listen to podcasts like this one. Go onto YouTube. Find different spiritual people and learn about all the different unique paths that you can take. Through that, you will find things that you feel drawn to when you're meant to be drawn to them, and trust that that will happen. When you let go of the control and the ideology of, I must do this, and when I complete this, I will move on to that. And when I can, that planning, that like human life type things that we do, when you let go of that control and you just trust that everything will come in when it's meant to come in, and you'll experience things when you're meant to, and the good things will come when they're meant to come, it actually moves smoother and I believe faster, because you then let go of the control and you start to just go with the flow. Trust, surrender. Two more things that they talked about. Such a human struggle, those two things. When we find them in our life and we actually live them and apply them, that's when you see the big growth. That's when you see the big changes. If I was to reflect back and look at, how everything happened the way it happened. I know for some people, my timeline can seem like it moved really quickly. Many times in this journey, I have completely given trust to the other side, to spirit, to my guides, and surrendered and just let everything happen how it's supposed to happen. And if something doesn't work out, I don't dwell on it. I'm like, it's just not the time. Move on, do something else. I also pursue things that I'm interested in. I learn different things. I read lots of books. I listen to podcasts. I'll tell you what I don't do a lot of: random scrolling on my phone, random TV watching. I tend to be learning and looking for things that help expand, me as a spirit, as a soul. And through that, I think I've been able to just grow through this journey. So I just want to put that out there. Instead of asking someone to tell you things about yourself, look inside and ask yourself, I want to add in here that if you need help finding this within you, I'm here to help. I have sessions where we can sit down and find these answers within you. I want to plant the seeds in you that all of this wisdom is within you already, and you can do this. You can figure this out. You can, step forward on this path. All right. I would love to know what stuck with you the most from today's session. What hit home the hardest for you? What piece of wisdom do you take away today and apply into your life? For me, I think it was the trust and surrender. And it's something I already do, but it's a reminder to continue doing it, to continue applying it into my journey, and understanding that everything is happening how it's supposed to happen as I planned on the timeline that it's meant to be, even though I don't want to hear that. It's really reminding myself that, yeah, that's where we're at. All right. Well, I want to thank their higher council for coming through and sharing this channeled message with us. I want to thank you guys for tuning in and listening. I know this is getting a little deeper into the woo. Thank you for trusting me, and I hope that this remains true to who I am. I think it does. I mean, this is who I am. This is what I'm experiencing. I definitely try and keep it grounded and practical, even though it's a little bit more woo than we usually discuss. But that's the journey. This is where I'm at. My woo is evolving. All right, guys, I'd love to hear from you. If you haven't already followed or subscribed, please do so now. Don't forget, I know lots of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. Also, hit like, drop a comment. I just love to hear from you guys. I love to hear where you're from, and I love to hear what your thoughts are. All right, well, I'm going to get heading out of here. We do have I got to share this. I have Mediumship 101 class coming up, and there's only 2 spots left. So if you were wanting to get in on this class, now is the time. This is your reminder. I'm telling you. Also, lots of one-on-one type sessions to meet you wherever you're at. If you head over to the website and you're wanting to sit down and just chat, I'd love to get to know you. All right, guys, I'm going to head out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for walking this path and finding spirit. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.